Hey, you know, I suppose as a kid, I really did grow up in what was called an innocent age. Nowadays, in the drug-oriented culture, you hear about pill popping and so forth. When we were kids, there was none of that. We had heard about marijuana. We weren't very sure what it was, but we found out because one day, right up on that screen, picture played here in the late 30s called Reefer Madness. We didn't know what reefer madness meant either, but it had to do with the evils of marijuana smoking. Wayward girls would have terrible, wanton behavior. We didn't know what that meant, but we wanted some of that. Not only did I come to this theater twice a week.
I'm Marc Emery, this is the Prince of Pot, and with me is Cannabis Culture editor Dana Larsen to help me. And today's show is, it's unbelievable how they're trying to torture our kids, our young people. In the last week alone, I have right before me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different stories since January 27th to today, February 7th, 10 days, and they're all showing that they're rounding up our kids in high schools and in junior college, and they're throwing away the key. They are locking them up. Extraordinary things. Right now, Loretta Knoll, the U.S. Marijuana Party, is in Palm Beach, Florida, organizing protests. Get this. Teens caught in the high school could face up to 15 years in prison for selling small amounts of marijuana in their high school. And they're 15, 16, they're just little kids, 15-year-olds, Loretta tells me, and they're being treated as adults in adult court, and they expect to give them sentences ranging anywhere from 2 to 5 years, with a maximum of 15 years for selling dime bags at school. Most of the teens were caught selling marijuana, according to this article. Dealing marijuana, regardless of the amount, within 1,000 feet of a school is a third-degree felony in Florida, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Some of the students, in fact, almost all the students were caught with less than $10 worth of marijuana. They were basically selling pot to each other, and now their lives are ruined. And here's what happens in every example we're going to get to. The police, adults, get a paycheck to go to a high school and befriend young people, posing as their friends, solicit drugs from these students. Often these are very attractive women who dressed who are officers who are in the high school. In Newfoundland, in 2004, 53 students were arrested in a variety of St. John's high schools when attractive women were posed who were police officers and asked the young men in the school for drugs. Didn't ask the women, asked young men in the school for marijuana, and 53 students responded to these. I mean, who's going to resist when you're in grade 10, 11, you're trying to fit in, trying to be cool, trying to meet women? 53 students who now having a criminal record will never be able to, as they say, leave the island, because with a criminal record at the very least, and we're going to get to some much more severe examples of punishment, but at the very least, a criminal record for a Canadian student will bar them from ever going to the United States, ever attending higher education in any other country. It will bar them from jobs in security, in law, in policing, in banking. It will make trucking, even a job trucking becomes impossible when you have a criminal conviction for marijuana. It totally circumscribes the options that people, young people, will have available to them in the rest of their life. Right now, Loretta Knoll is going to be staging a protest in front of those schools and in front of the police departments in Palm Beach, Florida. And Richard Rawlings of the U.S. Marijuana Party is going to Lincoln, Illinois to stand outside the courthouse that sentenced a 19-year-old Lincoln man for selling just, he had 1 ounce of weed, right? And he was given 6 years in prison. He's already been processed in Joliet, sorting out detention center for his 6 years. So he's also, in addition, going to get a 6-month high-impact military boot camp. So he's going to be ordered around, screamed at, yelled at, and ordered to do physically, obnoxious things for 6 months straight. And then he goes to jail for a 5.5-year additional sentence. And mind you, to add cruelty too, they also make $500 fine on top of him. And he's already served 90 days in jail for this in Lincoln, Illinois, 19-year-old. And he was sitting on the back porch of his residence with a bag of 30 grams of marijuana. He later told police he was thinking of selling it to his friends. 6 years. Two things there: never talk to the police under any circumstances. unless you have a lawyer present, because that's helped sink in. And the whole interesting aspect of this, and Rich Rawlings should be congratulated from the U.S. Marijuana Party. He'll be spending the entire week doing things in Illinois. He'll be in Springfield on Thursday night, observing the medical marijuana initiative bill that's actually in the Illinois legislature. And on Wednesday and Friday, he'll be outside the courthouse in Lincoln, Illinois, protesting that extraordinary sentencing for a man with 30 grams of weed. If you want to help Richard, please go to the main courthouse in Lincoln, Illinois. He'll be there Wednesday and Friday. And congratulations to him for standing up for something that's terrible going on. But it's going on all over America. Oniontonia, New York, a teenager was arrested 4 days ago for having 91 packets, $5 gram bags of marijuana at the Oniontonia, I don't even know if I'm saying Oneonta, Job Corps Academy. He's been sent to jail, and the total amount of marijuana he had was 2.7 ounces. So he's been kicked out of the academy. He's facing criminal charges of distribution. He's been released on $1,500 bail. His life will never be the same again for 2.7 ounces of pot. Jeez, I mean, I see more than that in a given day here at the BCMP. In Manor, Pennsylvania, police have yet to decide if they will charge an 11-year-old Armstrong County boy for taking marijuana residue to school last month. Basically, his parents packed his sandwich in an old weed bag. There was some old trichome sticking inside. I don't know who noticed. Somebody noticed. And now an 11-year-old child might be facing possession of marijuana charges. Derby, Connecticut, this happened on January 27th, 10 days ago, have suspended 15 students after investigating the smell of marijuana coming from the bathroom at Derby High School. And in Modesto, California, 10 students at Bayer High and Elliott Alternative Education Center were charged with marijuana offenses. Sergeant Ron Cloward of Modesto Narcotics Enforcement said the students were being booked on drug sales on school property. They are alleged to have sold drugs to undercover police officers who posed as students at both schools from September to December. Most of the students, in fact all of the students, had $5 and $10 bags of marijuana only. And yet last year, police arrested 42 students in April at the same high schools and said that, Sergeant Cloward, we will continue to keep drugs out of our schools. Apparently not. But that's pretty darn shocking when you've got 42 students arrested last year and 10 more arrested this year. And in the last week, again, Thursday, January 27th, at Truman State University in Missouri, arrested 2 students at Dobson Hall for possession of marijuana. Kings High School students arrested on drug charges in Lebanon, Ohio. 5 Kings High School students, and this is January 28th last week, are facing various drug charges involving marijuana, Warren County Sheriff's Office announced today. And in Tampa, Florida, a Plant High School student was arrested Wednesday, that's last January 27th, accused of running a drug dealing operation out of his South Tampa home and school. And he was released on $17,500 bail, and he faces possession of marijuana, possession with intent to distribute, possession within 1,000 feet of a church. Now go figure.